Trav is when he gets home. I went to the New York mission under William Barton for a couple months, and then Elder Creel Coford took over, and yeah, he became a member of the 70, called up early from the mission the next year in July. So, announced at conference that April, back in 1990, when Benson changed the temple text. So I got to see the old before I went on a mission, and it got changed, and the church hid everything, hoped everybody would forget, and nobody would remember. We don't do that anymore. Just like we're no longer racist, just like we're no longer sexist, just like we're no longer bigoted, just like we're no longer criminal, just like we're no longer... And I got transferred out of Massapequa Park after 3 months, killing off the first 3 companions I had. Yep. Elder Gale, Elder Miyazaki, and it wasn't Viet, because he was the one who said every day is a P day. So I can't remember his name. But anyway, all 3 of them were being sent home as I'm green. That was my greenie prank by the mission presidents. And so, at the mission conference, when Coford got there with the 3rd companion, he called me into his office, and I think that was also when afterward he caught me shooting hoops in the cultural hall at the transfer center where we had our mission meeting to introduce him. And I then gave him the ball as he shot a 3-point hook shot. And of course the missionaries, who were following around like a puppy dog, you know, all cheered and were amazed, and must be the Spirit of Jesus. And then he arrogantly told me to keep practicing. Oh, if you only knew. If you only knew. But anyway, he transferred me to Brooklyn, which had Brooklyn spray painted on the walls of the city. And so the apartment that we had there in Flatbush, right down the road from where a movie was being produced. Oh, it's gonna drive me crazy because I watched it after I remembered it. Was it last year or earlier this year? It's because the Trump trials brought out the one guy who is, the movie's all about him as a lawyer, fighting the good fight in the legal system. But regardless, I watched the movie to see if I could see outside of the windows of the house to see if I was walking by. And so yeah, our apartment, we had 2 sets of Spanish elders, which was common in New York. There were many Spanish-speaking investigators out there, and then there was me and can't remember his name, but he was the district leader And so among the duties that we had as a district leader companionship was to keep a very close eye on the sister missionaries, who were the first to be placed in Coney Island. Because typically, sister missionaries were verboten from the boroughs because of the risk of violence. And so Creole Coford was breaking boundaries and put the first sister missionaries out there on Coney Island. And so my missionary companion, as the district leader, having to call up every night for numbers. Really? I don't recall any other district leader calling us every night. He would finish his mission at the same time as a sister missionary who finished her mission, and you got to understand, she's 2 years older than him. And they take the same plane ride home. They end up getting married. Everybody's having fun but me. And so yeah, there was one night where he called and there was no answer. And so, oh no, it's past curfew. Where are they? And so, you know, got to go out there and find out. And so we rode our bikes and all the way down to Coney Island. And people were scared. Oh no, what's going on? Something big's happening. With young boys in suits. And we get at their door and we knock, and lights come on. So they answer the door only to find out that their phone had been unplugged. So, yeah. Romances all over the place. One time, I think I was on a split with the zone leader tag along, and we were to meet up at the Bensonhurst apartment, which again, 2 sets of Spanish elders, and there might have been 2 sets of English, because I think there were 3 sets there, and we were waiting for the 4th, and we were wondering where they were, or their 3rd, doesn't matter. There were a lot of missionaries at the apartment there. And then they come rushing in the door. And the one elder, you know, he's huffing and puffing. He just goes right back into the bathroom to wash up. And the other companion is breathing heavy. He's scared for his life. He's panicking, freaking out, and saying, we got to call the mission president, we got to call the mission president, we got to call the mission president. Because what had happened is they had come across a drug deal and taken place. And the other elder that didn't want to talk about it rushed right through saying, don't do it, it's a trick. They're setting you up. And ran all the way home. Mission president was called. The area was shut down for about 6 months until the heat wore off, and they resumed again to see if it would be okay, and obviously new missionaries were put in. And so, to give you that little background of missionary life, and I can also put this in the playlist for missionaries, as I haven't done one in a long time. I intended to go straight through, giving you a full tour of the whole thing, but I failed. So, the church news today 11th of June, 2024, Auckland, New Zealand, New Caledonia. Missionaries are relocated following civil unrest. Now, I wouldn't cover this other than to expose the church for their evil. Because the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is supposed to do this wherever in the world there is civil unrest. You know, like Haiti, those islands where 5 Americans were caught at the airport with ammo in their luggage? Really? And the Congo, where a couple of Mormons got busted for an attempted coup failure. What happened to them? Did they get assassinated for their failed coup? See, YouTube is being criminally mean to me by denying me access to YouTube. So I'm out of the loop. I don't know what's going on. Did Trump change his mind and decide to accept responsibility for his crimes and attempted coup and go peacefully to prison? They're just some things I already know what's going to happen. You know, like the church, the prophets are never going to confess. Their authority is on the line. They can't confess. They put out the Joseph Smith papers, and yet they still won't confess, even though it's a confession. And not a single Mormon will look them up to know that the church is confessing it's all a fraud. This is all a waste. These missionaries who are fleeing for their lives to be relocated somewhere else in the world should never have gone on the mission in the first place. They're going out, lying, recruiting people for the criminal operation of the church, and putting their lives on the line for a false hope and exaltation if they die on their mission. That's what's so sad. See, because all of these cute little honey bunny sister missionaries that are being relocated, who have the smiles on their faces as they're told to smile. Smile for the camera, make sure everybody thinks you're okay, that your lives weren't threatened. They're supposed to be having 3 babies by now. They're wicked sinners. The church just tolerates it for now. Just unbelievable. And of course, not a single one of them are wearing slacks. They're allowed to wear slacks now. Not a single one of them are wearing slacks. They're all wearing the typical pre-slack uniform. Isn't that interesting how they were chosen? God. But I do notice that some of the elders have inappropriate ties. And what's with the teddy bear? Who's allowed to take a teddy bear on their mission? Oh my hell. It's my comfort bear. So upset with my dad. He threw away my tiger blanket. I mean, yeah, it was pretty much shredded, but it was mine. It has memories, because I got it as a baby. Tiger blanket. It was handmade. My grandmother with my aunts made it for me. My mom's mother and sisters. So, yeah, I was the first kid in the family. The firstborn birthright blessing son of the firstborn birthright blessing daughter. So yeah, there's lots of other places in the world where the missionaries need to leave. when October 6th happened, October 7th happened, the first presidency put out a statement saying that Israel needs to stop, which prompted the immediate emergency evacuation of the Jerusalem temple as they fled to Greece. And then we find out in the church news just a couple of days after that they had to come home. And Ukraine, oh my hell! I went, are the missionaries relocated? What's going on? And then we find out, nope, it's up to the stake president to decide how to handle things. And so, yeah, we still have missionaries. I mean, service persons in Russia. They call them mission presidents in the church news for Russia and missionaries. And yet, we deceive Russia. I try to tell Putin, and he won't listen. He thinks he's outsmarted the church. He doesn't get it. So yeah, it's so sad. Wasting their lives away, not having 3 kids by now. And kids are cute, but still, it should be the decision of the people, the husband and wife, as to when and how many, and shouldn't have to have external societal influencing force their decisions. But that's another issue. And so yeah, there's, why did the church select this one for the church news when there's other problems going on? The EU now, what's going on there? We're seeing all of this refusal to help with Ukraine, and then they're siding with the UN against Israel. This is not good. It is not good to have neo-Nazis running nations around the world. This is going to end badly. We already know the consequences of this. It shouldn't be surprising anybody. And so, yeah, it's sad that all of these little kids are clueless that they're in the wrong church because they never studied. They didn't have time to study. They go to church, they're told what to believe, how to feel. They go to seminary, they get told how to believe, how to feel. And then boom, out on their mission. The parents most likely don't want them on social media as kids. Because of all the porn. But, I mean, dear God, come on. The Mormons who attack me have no clue what a fallacy is. And if they do know what a fallacy is, then they know they're wrong. Because a fallacy is a falsehood. It comes from the same root. And I'm just stupefied. Is that a Godsmack song? I think it is. We'll search for it. Put that as the theme song in the description below. You gotta study, Mormons. The scriptures tell you to study. The word is only the seed. You gotta find out if it's true or not. And getting a feeling one way or the other is not the way to establish truth. You gotta produce the results of the word. That's the fruit. And so by the words of the prophets, you can know if their words are true and false by following it out. And so that's why I'm laughing at Nelson all the time. I put his direct quote from a video from conference, and then the rest of the video is me busting up laughing. Because he's wrong. It's false. And it's criminally, abusively wrong. And Mormons don't get it. They think that they're justified in attacking me to defend the church when they're in denial that the church is wrong. False. That all of this is wasting their time other than to get a vacation or to somewhere else outside of Utah. That's not what you're doing it for, is it, girls? I have seen the singles wards. The older singles ward sisters. They're successful career women. They had planned to go on a mission, get an education, get a career, and then in their 30s, find the perfect guy who did what they did, and they live happily ever after with 2.5 kids. And those older singles ward sisters are in depression because it failed. Because it was just their plan and the guys didn't want to cooperate. Because the guys in the older singles ward already selected a graduated high school girl when he got home from his mission, and then was divorced 2 to 5 years later. And so he's an utter failure. Yeah. The other guys were already a failure because they couldn't get a girl to marry them. Women weren't thinking this through. But this is what the church does, is damage to Mormons. Women can get married and get an education and do something productive with their life if the church would give out the money rather than hoarding it, so that Mormons didn't suffer financially, getting blamed by the church for their poverty, guilt-tripping the men. Well, you got to get a better job to support a family, support more kids, support more wives. It's coming. Nobody's obeying. He changed it in 2019. Nobody believes him. So he's going to murder you out of revenge. It's what they do. It's coming this year, 3 Nephi chapter 7. Nobody's looking it up. Nobody cares. Nobody believes. You're just apathetic. You've made your choice and you're sticking to it, even if you know it's wrong, even when it's no longer popular. 3.5 million, that's all there is. There isn't no 17 million plus. Church has lied to you. They're covering it up. Should have figured it out by the number of wards and branches. And that doesn't make you the chosen ones, but that's what Mormons who are left believe. We're the only righteous ones because we're still Mormon. No, you're the ones who are stupid, drinking too much of the Kool-Aid, hoping to meet Jesus in the clouds. Because he never showed. If you knew and understood, you'd know he never showed. And so thus Jesus isn't true. The word interpreted as Christian did not happen. No fruit, didn't show. Thus, wrong, false. Using the Jewish interpretation, hey, he showed, and everybody murdered him. He's dead. Good job, you murdered your Christ. So yeah, I am expecting another attack. Don't think that I'm now taking it easy. Oh, I escaped again. All is well in my little cave of Zion. No, I'm expecting another attack. Another big attack. I'm getting the little attacks from YouTube, but I'm expecting another big attack. That's what's happening this year, because this year they're going to make sure it's over and done with, the final solution. 3 Nephi chapter 7. Hello. You know, it'd be nice if we can have a Bajoran resistance going to help those out of Utah to go to Zion and build so that we can be at peace, safety, and refuge while the church rots and burns in the fiery pit of hell here in this valley. You did know that, right? The valley, it's sitting on top of hell. Literally, the hell right underneath. So when the earthquake happens, the Temple Square falls down into hell. It's just right there. Didn't you know that? Oh, so sad. Would have been nicer if you girls were standing up so that I can see the full outfit. I only have really the one in the purple and then the one in black. Missions are not funerals, girls. But anyway, and so yeah, there'll apparently be reassigned to other Pacific countries, which aren't they all falling into chaos? Because this is what's happening, guys. In case you didn't know, this is what's going to happen. The world realizes America is about to fall. This election will be it. They already know it. They're already planning for it. And so once America falls, then boom, the enemies in the other nations will then strike and war will commence worldwide. Thus, Zion would be the only place on earth that peace, safety, and refuge. Section 45. Joseph Smith made that just for you, Mormons. It's about you. It's not the Jews. It's not Jerusalem. It's not the Jerusalem temple. There is no temple. What was he talking about then? So, memories on the corner of the night.